All right, we're live.
Oh, sweet.
We're live. No one's here yet, though, so we won't say anything. Okay, now one person is here. 2 people. I just got my Periscope back, by the way. Periscope tried to take me down in one day.
What'd you do?
We had that reverse. So I don't know. It said I went there and got suspended, and then the email I got back is all of my what's it called? All of my stars were taken away from me. So.
Ow.
Fucking
That's
assholes.
Impressive. I'm good.
Yeah, that was aggressive. I think you literally cash in stars. Dude. Like, you can make cash from stars. And they're just like, no, you know what? We're taking your fucking money. So, whatever.
I'm still trying to get used to this new thing for me. It's like now it's so weird with my Twitter just because of the nature of what I do, being in marketing and PR and shit. I'm used to like always on my phone and Twitter notifications and stuff. And I have to like sometimes I'll catch my girlfriend, like she'll look over and I'll just like look at my phone for like 3 notifications and it's like Dano approve. And, like all these new people just start calling me. Like,
Dano's the best, man. He's
he's awesome.
He's already in the comments.
I love Dano. All this new world. It's weird for me.
Oh yeah. No, it's the best. It's the best. So I brought you here because first of all, me and you are going to be doing something that has to do with what I'm fucking obsessed with, and that's the Minifan news that you do on Kirk and Off, which that podcast, dude, those two have crushed it.
I remember listening to the first episode because I know. Luckily, I know both Blind Mike Daddy and Buddy in my personal life from before. I went to high school with Buddy, so and he's even said that. So I got lucky enough like to listen to it. And then it's always like a fun story about how I figured like one day who my dad doesn't listen to the podcast just all of a sudden out of the blue text me, Blind Mike's dad says hi. And I'm like, where the hell is this coming from? So then I had to reach out and then I put 2 and 2 together. So then I listened to Kirk and Off the first time. So I reach out to Blind Mike's dad and I'm like, is this what I think it is? Oh yeah. and then I gotta like one day just out of the blue, Buddy reached out to me. He's like, I know you used to be on the radio. Would you want to do the news segment? I'm like, let's do it. Like I got nothing else going on. It's fun.
Well, you have like the perfect fucking voice for it, and it's like,
and I get the face for it too. It's perfect.
You got the face for the radio. It's like the music bed in it is fucking hysterical, and like I just loved it. So I came to you and I wanted to do a little project with it. So basically what we're going to do, I'm just going to let you kind of have the reins here and tell me what you kind of do for the news segment. Like, what do you do? Do you spend all week kind of fucking just getting it ready, or do you get it all ready the last night?
It's a week-long process. It's not a solo thing. It's a good collaborative effort between myself, Buddy, and Blind Mike's daddy. We're trying to encapsulate a good balance between what's going on in the Minifan world, like indirectly with the show. If like there's a good beef going on or anything, we want to talk about that, but also kind of the happenings within the show. And honestly, I just go into like normal mode of ripping off what I used to do when I worked in radio. So it's like the breakdown is almost like from the three teasers. And that whole news segment is really based off of anyone who lives in Rhode Island who listens to AM radio or now FM. WPRO. It's their whole ripoff. You give the 3 headlines, you go into your main story first, you jump like 3-4 stories in that, and then normally from there we would break to a commercial, and then when we come back, it would go weather, sports, to the show. Yeah. So to kind of like we don't have any sponsors to throw it to for the commercial part. So So I'll just do like I can bump it a little more news and then throw it in for like a competition thing. And it was the first Dozens trivia. We kind of threw it in there, and then. The Bagger Carcass one kind of just was natural, and then this week, obviously, this week was good. Yeah, this week was full of stuff. Like I know we're gonna sit here and talk a little bit about the trivia stuff because we're gonna be doing something on that. So like that's what
this week was full.
Yeah, so what I'm doing now is I'm in the process of writing the actual like a longer news spot that won't make the news because I'll end up doing tomorrow is I'll take some of the clips. If they take calls one more time. I tried to call in on Wednesday, but unfortunately after the
didn't get in. You don't have that private line yet?
I was on hold for the live abortion. I was cracking up for like the live play-by-play and how to get it. So I couldn't get through. And I mean, at this point I was ready to go after Steve of just being like, do you feel like you're useful to this team? And I think, and the biggest thing that took away from
do you feel like you do anything here?
No, he does a lot for the show. It's just it was all the whole trivia team aspect. I wanted to get that. And even when I was on the wrap-up show with Justin and Kevin on Monday, I even said, I'm like, if they lose, I think there's a change. But to hear Kirk just come out so determined now, and I think that's, and you can just tell the passion and the drive and competitiveness of someone. He's not going to let that go. So he's going to single-handedly carry this team. Now, I think like if Steve is smart, he can get like Icy Hot as a sponsor. I think that'd be pretty funny. Just
see, Steve works so fucking hard. Like, he works his ass off, but that doesn't mean I don't think he's terrible at trivia, because he's awful on that team. He's fucking horrible. I said the other day, I wish there were still cuts in high school, because we wouldn't feel so bad to get rid of him right now.
He's like, he's gone next.
It's like, come on, that's how the natural process of.
But then it's also
nowadays, it's not.
But I feel with Kirk at the point, it's like, who's he gonna bring on? Like, Mike's not an employee anymore. I mean, realistically, the only other person that could join up to it is going to be would be Justin, that I can think of, that's directly related to the show. Yeah. I mean, unless he can convince Big Cat to come on. Like, I mean, I'm not going to lie. A team of Jared, Big Cat, and Kirk, I think would be funny. You put those three guys together. But then again, you got Big Cat resting now because he's got to sing the national anthem tomorrow night.
Yeah, I know. I'm hyped for fucking Rough and Rowdy tomorrow.
I can't believe Canseco showed up. As soon as I saw Portnoy's, I'm like, this is amazing.
I think, like, no matter what, like, even if he didn't show up, that would, first of all, be a horrible look at this point. Like, he would think that would be like a power move, but like Barstool will make you look like an idiot if you do that. So you can't do that at this point. And now, like,
he got so in.
He's huge though, so I don't know what can happen.
It's. I listened to the Token CEO today, which was great with Billy Football. And
I didn't know he was on there.
And he makes it's an interesting side to see of him, because as I listen to part of my take, I gotta try to listen to as much as I can. And it's right. He comes off as kind of like the meathead on PMT, but like you listen to him, it's like, all right, this kid actually has a head on his shoulders. So it's I'm like, all right, and he makes him and Erica make both a valid point of, when you're in a fight, like, you could be that big as Canseco. I think people think he's gonna knock him out, but it's like the power that he has hitting home runs, that doesn't come from the arms that you wouldn't in the punch. It's a completely different thing. So
you just stay on. I want to see, like, Billy Football he's pretty big now, I guess. Like, I'm sure he's training up to fucking. Hopefully he's training up, because like Canseco's fucking huge, but I mean he's a dinosaur. So
do I think he's gonna knock out Canseco? No, but do I think you're gonna see kind of like I honestly think he's gonna just constantly move around him, use the first round. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a Billy win, 2-1, because he's gonna lose the first round just because he's gonna try to tire Canseco out in that. And then the second round, you'll see him start to count. He'll swing, miss, try to and Billy hit him. Have you
ever been to a Rough and Rowdy?
Not in person. The closest one I could have had was Providence.
Yeah, I knew they had one in Providence. I went to the one in fucking Youngstown. It was literally the best sporting event I've ever gone to. It was like it was the one where Gay Pat fought, and he fought like that real hick, like anti or homophobic dude. And it was like, dude, it was like Justice won that night. It was like the gay guy beat the fucking homophobic guy. It was like, and then I got into an elevator. I got into an elevator later that night with the kid I went with, and Portnoy, fucking Big Cat, Roan, and Caleb were in that fucking elevator with us. Dude, we walked out of our car walking into the hotel, and they were walking in, and like then they get in this elevator, and me and the kid I went with were standing there, and we just like, yeah, we're going in the elevator. we're not missing that fucking elevator. We're squeezing in here, boys. Sorry if this is awkward for you.
We're here for it. I was just like, so like for me, when I walk my dogs, I always listen to podcasts as I roll. I can't even listen to music anymore. It's just when you work in radio once, that ruins the music for you real quick. Just the same shit over and over.
I've been listening to, now that the show's 3 days a week, I've been finally able to listen to like more fucking other shows. I love it.
It's been a nice break, and I was listening to KFC radio, and frickin' they were going through like in honor of the surviving Barstool shit. It was like the top 5 villains, And number one, fights takes it the best way, which is funny about fights is he actually went to a school like 15 minutes from where I grew up down at the Abbey. So I actually have a lot of friends who know him from his time there. So it's like when I start to hear the stories, I start freaking laughing with that. But even said, he's like, the biggest villains you can put number one is Dave Portnoy. Because it's like something Dave's even said. It's like when everyone will go up to him, like, you forget where you came from. You're not like a comic. He goes, no, I was never that person. I just never had the money to not be that person. And now
Well, Portnoy has said he's been this rich since way before he was this rich. He's acted like he's been this rich for 10 years now. So it's nice that it's finally paid out for him.
One of the greatest American success stories.
Yeah, literally. Like, if you can't say that he's one of the best American success stories, like, you're a fool. Like, he is literally like a written American business success story.
You get a kid from the freaking Boston suburbs who gets into national fights with people. The most like when I'm doing my re-listen, and it's just so much fun to do, going back to shows November, December of 19 and all of 2020, and like with the whole freaking labor fight with AOC. It's just great because then now I think what makes so smart with Dave is like the stuff he does can translate. And I was having a lot of fights with this with the NWHL shit with Nardini. I'm going back and forth with people, and I'll give this one guy credit. I got to find his handle, but he actually would have an intellectual conversation with me without name calling. He was on the NWHL side. I'm like, here, like, well, she is advocating for the team. But she does trash, like, because he was like saying like how Erica was trashing the camera footage. I go, what she's doing in this scenario, she's got a popular platform, and she's like, hey guys, here's what an issue is, what viewers might be wrong, and I'm going to say that. When you get that criticism, it's even, I think, even and you bring it to the Kirk's world, it's when the criticism comes, you're going to take one of two things are going to happen. You're either going to like buckle down, say you're right, you're wrong, you're just being an asshole type of thing. Or you take that criticism, you're like, all right, how can we fix it? Like, if I'm working PR for NWHL and I see that thing from Erica, I know she's having players on. I know she cares about it. Let's reach out and see if we can do something. Yeah, are 2 or 3 players going to get pissed off in the league? Yeah, but if you look at the numbers, it's why would we shut down this audience? You know?
The
NWHL's in like once you reach
the way I look at it is, if this is a Harvard business case study, this is you take the Barstool side 100% of the time. I mean, like 100% of the time. And it's not even smart enough to be a Harvard like a Harvard business case study. Like that's how easy of a decision this is.
And everyone's like, oh, well, is there another example of it? Just look at the Premier Lacrosse League. What do they do?
NASCAR. NASCAR has Barstool. NASCAR has Barstool there for one race, and their numbers visually bump. And that's fucking NASCAR. So to get NASCAR numbers to visually bump is big numbers. So like, I don't know. Why don't we try NASCAR? Why don't we use them as an example? Like,
I mean, I use the PLL because it's the PLL is the perfect example. I mean, because
the lacrosse league just went out of business because of those guys.
Yeah, the PLL bought them out. They merged. It's because living up where I live, I just watched the Cannons. They were playing in Quincy, and now they're joining the league, which is great. It's because it shows. And I remember listening in the summer of 19, like they had Paul Rabel on, and he was talking about it. And what happens? Freaking part of my take goes the water dogs.
Rabel's on Part of My Take all the time. And like, I mean, what Rabel did is just genius. I mean, he just got all the guys who weren't happy from the other league and started a league and just got a bunch of people's money. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's genius. And look what happened. They got Barstool involved, and they're successful.
And on the NWHL right now, I'm looking at that exact model because if you look at viewership and like promotion and the starting point and capital, that's more of a comparable than NASCAR.
Yeah, than NASCAR. Yeah, exactly.
They're in the same boat. So it's
even then, say you get to the NASCAR level, it's still making a difference. Yeah, you know, you have examples on multiple fucking levels. Like it's fucking insane that like just what a few Twitter trolls could do.
Not even two. It's one reporter. Think about this. This one reporter.
This is the same person with the towels.
I was going to say, this one reporter is now responsible for a Massachusetts State Supreme Court hearing about a prank phone call, and possibly like if as Dave even said this week on the Dave Portnoy show, if Erica wants to start a league, all of Barstool's going to get behind it, and then you're going to see what the PLL did to Major League Lacrosse.
Yeah,
you're going to see that exact thing that happened.
I mean,
there.
like Barstool was really just waiting to shoot their shot on that level, and if they do it for women's hockey, I wouldn't be too happy. But like, who cares? I would love to watch it. I would love to watch it all the same. I want to watch them just destroy something.
I mean, for me, like I used to do one of my like nice little side gigs I had was for Brown University. I would do public address, like fill-in stuff, and I would do a lot of women's hockey. It was great.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing about doing public address is because, especially in college hockey, usually the penalty box of the home bench is right next to you. Right next to you.
Try to get some interviews.
and they all know, they all know you have the monitor because if the ref comes over to see you, you can all see the shit. So they'll bang on the glass. Did I trip that bitch? Yeah, you did. I'll tell you where you got it. I'm sorry. It was a good call for once. But freaking, what was that song I was listening to? I was listening to Part of My Take. They had Ozzie Guillen on. And and I'm surprised they didn't go to the next level because like they talked about it and they were like, Ozzy, who would you fight? Like Joe West? And he's like, oh yeah, blah, blah. And it got me thinking, I'm like, I'm surprised leagues, imagine like a charity event a league could do if they had like some of the umps. Like if MLB managers, the umps just go box after. After a season, how great would that be? That's
what I love about Rough and Rowdy is just like their company is so cool that if you want to fucking fight somebody at your job, you can do it on a national level too. Like on a national
Jose Canseco.
Jose gets like you want to just throw fists with somebody. You can literally do that at this company. Like that's insane. But yeah, I think it's fucking another trivia. In other trivia news, Tim from Canton starting a Minifan trivia. I fucking love that.
Yeah,
I fucking love that.
I saw that, so I reached out to him, and there'll be a couple of announcements related to that.
If you boys did it, if the Kirk and Off boys did it, I'm sure you guys are going to put a team in there. If you three win, I think you guys would do pretty good. Buddy knows this stuff. Blind Mike's daddy is basically part of the show, and I mean, you obviously do your research, so I think you guys. My team's going to be me, Kevin from Bristol, and Merge Mouse. I just got the Island of Misfit toys and made a team.
I was going to say the Hall of Fame banishment team.
Yeah. First guy's out. First ballot out.
Kirk has clearly said no, hell no to you.
He
said flat out no to Merchants and Mouse and suspended Kevin.
My first four choices were Merch Mouse, Kevin from Bristol, and Ned Snark, all guys who were immediately kicked off the ballot. And if those didn't work, I was going to ask Adam Minahan. See if Adam Minahan.
I mean, it would have been great if someone could pull off the Minahan brothers on their team. That would be just. I think that's an unfair advantage if you get Adam and Ryan. If you could somehow convince both of them one night to be on a trivia team.
Yeah. I was talking to Buddy before this. He said this week's podcast is going to be a good one.
Yeah,
this week's podcast is going to be a good one.
That's like the one thing I'm really excited about. So here's the thing I love about BMD and freaking Buddy. It's since I started doing the news, they'll clue me in on who they're having and stuff. So it's like great. And I can't tell you how many times I've been like, just let me hop in and listen. And they're like, nope, you have to wait. So even with mine, I know who it is, but it's a wait. But there's a couple of goes in the special project we're all working on. It's great. Like I'm excited for that. I'll let them announce the dates and the times of it, but all three of us are working hard behind the scenes. And I think it's going to be something that is going to be receptive by everyone. And they're going to find it amazingly funny. I'm happy with what I did.
That's good. That's good.
I'm very happy with what I did.
He's very excited. Ned, Merch Mouse, and John from Scranton, an all-star team. Dan said, "I want it would have been such a having Merch Mouse and Ned on my team. I'd be the most handsome gentleman in the fucking world on my team. Like, yeah, I'm in. But yeah, no, I'm excited for Tim. It seems like I saw there were 53 comments and like 20 retweets on the tweet that Tim put it out. So I'm happy for him. I was wondering if like he has enough fucking questions for that. Like, is this just Minifan content? Like,
I mean,
are questions only Minifan based? Like, or are we going outside?
I think what I think could make that effective, and at first I like the idea, and I think at first when he said that it was all Minifan related, but then I think once you look back on it, a successful way for it would be keep it a trivia challenge. keep it in random category, like, or even not even random. Like, every show there'll be like a history, this, that.
Yeah.
And then have one of the categories be Minifan stuff. And that way you'll be able to have it last longer.
That's what, and like I have a little chat with fucking Kevin and Merch Mouse right now, and we were wondering, and like that's what we said. We thought like right towards the end, maybe that's where the Minifan questions kick in, and the rest is just regular trivia or how he's gonna. I don't know. Tim's a smart. Well, I mean, Tim's as smart as we can make Tim. Like I'm sure he could figure it out, but probably.
Oh, if there's anyone that can come up with thousands of questions,
that's what I mean. If there's one guy, like it's him, or like I mean, there's very few people who can do that. Like he's the one with the fucking notebook. I'm gonna try my fucking damnedest to get those questions beforehand, though. I'll have the whole goddamn tech team on trying to crack into so much
bribery behind the scenes. Like I'm
I can't wait
going into this.
Dano said Tim has the Bible.
Yeah. And I always have to say, anytime I have to do a show, I have to give my girlfriend so much credit for putting up with me, like with all this stuff that I do now with the show. It's like
Carm sits over here. She's usually in the same room as me when I'm doing it. She puts up with me.
Yeah,
how you liking All in the Minute family?
I love it. It's fun. I think I'm making an appearance this week. I've been reached out to. I confirmed.
The best part of their show is they reach out to 400 people and then just make people sit in the back and sometimes don't even go to them. Yeah, and I'm like, that's such a power move. I fucking love that. It's such a power move.
The funniest thing, and even Kirk played it a lot on the show, is just freaking Madawaska Rob. It's 2021.
I think that was Riggles. I think Tim Riggles was like 2021.
I thought it was Rob, because Rob was the one jumping up and down.
I think it was Rob was jumping up and down, but I think it's Riggles saying 2021 is going to be. I think. I don't know. I
got to go back.
It's amazing that's at the end of the show now. Like, that's the goal of the show, is to make maybe a small, tiny sound bit come from weeks and weeks of stuff. Like, that's the goal of the show.
So funny. And I think what's one fun thing about this Minifan world is, like, I've loved Kirk since when he first started on weekends, and once this developed, and in 19 when the podcast came out on Barstool, and I started like the Twitter really kind of vamp up, I was like, all right, this is good to follow. And I was always hesitant especially with what happened to me. I was like, oh fuck, if I look for a job at any point, it's all right, it's another ammunition, and I can explain it away. It's not like look, I'll be passionate about the shit I defended. It's like, I'll say what's on my mind. And even sometimes when I've recorded podcasts with other people, I've actually said shit that I know would get clipped. And then I always would record everything. So I have the before, the after. And ideally one day, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to make this happen, but anyone who's read that Huffington Post article on me, I can reach out to that person who like went to the Huffington Post on me. I would just love to have a conversation.
Oh yeah,
I think that would be the most entertaining thing. I want to
have a conversation with Carano. Like that's the juicy stuff, man. That's the good stuff.
Look, but here's the thing, and I think it's something that Kirk sees a lot when Steve reaches out to these people with all these articles. Is like they see the thing and like, oh no, I'm not going on with you. It's like, talk to me. Like, you are willing to go to the Huffington Post about me.
But you won't talk to me. Like
you don't want to know me. It's like, was I an idiot in 2010? Yeah. Would I say those things now? No, because
certain words and people don't realize, like, you were allowed to say things in 2010 you're not allowed to say in 2020. And it's not even like you're not wrong for saying, like, you are wrong for saying them in 2010. It's just like, it took us till 2020 to realize you're a big fucking idiot and you shouldn't have said it. Huh?
Yeah, actually, I think
do I have to give examples of those words, Carmen? I would rather not.
I just realized I didn't even have my actual microphone plugged in, so I'm probably going through the computer. Hold on 1 second. See if this sounds better.
It sounded good. Why? Oh, you weren't going through your mic?
No, I didn't have my. So the way I do this is I have my work laptop, and then this actually is probably going to sound a little bit better coming through the actual mic, or I might have.
Yeah, now it is. It was hot coming. Yeah, now it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Because then I can adjust, because I have my soundboard, and I have.
Yeah, the first time I talked to you, I was like, oh shit, he's fully equipped.
Yeah, so
and then you told me the dirty backstories of how you have everything. Maybe you shouldn't even tell people.
It's not that dirty. No. It's not even a dirty thing. It's just like
I've been fortunate enough to have good friends.
Yeah.
I was lucky.
Yeah.
It's
lucky.
the way they made it work. It was perfect.
Yeah, I need to find one of those friends that I could do that. Even if I have one that has one, I could just steal it or something. Like I need a friend that even has one close to them so I could get it.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got a friend who's like a tech whiz, and he helps out with stuff. So normally, what he does is whenever like anything like breaks, he's like, "I'll try to fix it, but we should just buy the anyway upgrade."
So what me and you were going to be doing together is kind of like that new segment you do for them is more or less usually about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So what me and you were planning on doing for everybody, I guess we could announce now, is going to be more or less like a video of one part of that segment, and that will come out when they release the podcast, right? Because I think that'd be cool to have like just a quick hit news segment out on video. You know what I mean? Like just for
I think what's going to be fun about it will be the actual for this first one we'll do, and I like to do it live because I always like to see what like this little snippet of just me trying to record straight when I get into the mode is always funny because I think I like last week was when I was talking about the whole drama within the parody song world and the retirement of Steve's the Liar guy. And I was like, you know what? I have to put, like, I always like to challenge myself at points. So I was like, I'm going to try to put in one of the songs that has a really difficult title. And of course, it's Abdul Siam. In the audio,
I told you I had to do we did a cartoons on him once, and I had to like put in his name like 400 times, and it's like it was the word. I had just copied and pasted it into a Word document and then just had that Word document up at all times. I literally
the one thing that I always learned, especially in radio, when you're doing anything live, if you could read it with enough conviction
that it sounds right.
You could be 120% wrong. But last week I'm doing the news read, and like I got through it, I was like, and the song Abdul Siam Singh was Kirk's roommate, and I'm like, I get the whole inflection that I want him going, and then like it kind of catches up to me with what I said, and I just start getting the giggles, and I was like, fuck.
Well, you can tell like on the actual show when they were doing it, they were laughing like they were laughing when they were saying it.
And that's like one of the things about Steve's a Liar guy that I'm just immensely impressed with is that he can record a whole song pronouncing that last name. And like, the whole other like contents of it, like the Kevin from Bristol's with some of the shit he sings, and I was talking with Jay about it because so I'm from Bristol, and like I said on the Rundown Monday, when Kevin was getting roasted and like they started roasting Kevin and they started roasting Justin, I was like, oh shit, I'm next. Like, because I would be the first one to admit I brought up RK's name. I was the first person to do it. It was my fault that the whole came up. And like I saw some of it on Twitter relating to it, but like, I mean, sometimes you're gonna let Kevin talk, and Kevin's gonna do Kevin's things.
Yeah.
And at the end of his day, I was like, yeah, well, he's gonna dig his own grave on that, and I'll let him.
Every time, well, no, I've been on that show four times, and 3 out of those times, Kirk has been very angry the next day, and I was never mentioned once for being on the show. So don't worry, you're safe.
I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get hit on this one. But then I kind of escaped it. I was like, and with Kevin, what I try to articulate, and probably poorly, I poorly did so on that, was the biggest difference that I see between the RK Kevin situation is that Kirk's right that no one will get a cameo from Kevin most likely without knowing him through the verse, which is fine. But he's still, it's easier to separate Kevin from the show than it would be a sticker that has the show's logo and
exactly. Yeah. I'm a guy who's all for like going to make your own fucking money. I don't give a shit what anybody does, honestly. Dude, we have like fake t-shirts where they're not fake, but like we have like a fake company we pretend to have. Like I don't get, like, we do that to make fun of the fact that like people were once bashed for making $1 off of things. Like I'm all for Kevin making. I thought the only weak move was to actually get rid of the cameo. That was a tough move. You got to just, if you're gonna do it. You got to keep it though.
How funny would it have been if he actually I mean, I'm sure Kevin brought has a lot of ideas. Kevin is a million times more creative than I'll ever be.
Call Kevin when someone's on a show and ask him to do something, and Kevin will call later that show with doing it. So like he is very much part of the show. I love his like, you may know me from the Kirk Minahan show. You may know me from the Kirk Minahan show. Even though they bashed that on the show.
All the way back.
Yeah, even though they bashed that on the show, like, he's trying to have fucking fun, man. Whatever, dude. I was actually on a KMS Brews with Kevin, and I told him, I was like, you should start a Cameo. And this was like 2 months ago. And I hope it wasn't me that made him start it. I really hope it wasn't me.
Well, I'm hoping. I forget. I honestly, I gotta re-listen to see when they're actually recording the next show. I don't know if it was supposed to be tonight or if it's going to be tomorrow morning.
No, they recorded yesterday. So it's
they recorded yesterday.
Yeah, they recorded yesterday. Yeah.
Then they didn't send up the phone number because I had so many good, like, especially once I heard it was Mike. I was ready to call in again.
Yeah.
I was, because the whole line of questioning that I was going to do was for Blind Mike would have been, so how does it feel to basically be Kevin's pimp? I mean, you're getting 5% of all. You're supporting.
Blind Mike saying that he gets 5% of the proceeds was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. And I guess it's just because Cameo makes it that way. Like any money, the person that requests you to be on there makes 5%, but like, that's just the fun. Like, that's your daddy now. That's your daddy.
So my question to Kirk was just going to be, are you more disappointed in Kevin for trying to get the initiative for it, or more disappointed in Mike for to do it? And just use the word disappointed, because as a kid,
how disappointed are you? What else do you have in news? What else is going on news-wise?
So news-wise, I got to talk to Stephen Providence, dispelling some rumors of eloping.
Oh, that's good. I know you said you were going to do a little segment on Steve for Providence. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to
talk with him. He's a great guy. It's another funny thing is because when he shared out during the election in November, when he shared his ballot, I started freaking dying because who he wrote Ted Sellers against. The state rep who actually won, Patricia Morgan, hates me.
Oh, really?
Because she ran for governor against the guy I worked for, and I got to make fun of her for months on that. Like one of her big things was like, we had a press conference, so she paid someone to show up in a chicken costume and made shirts like Alan Fung's too chicken to debate me. And I'm like, I actually have one of the shirts, and I'm so happy. I wear it once in a while.
Sure, yeah, definitely. So like Buddy and fucking Blind Mike's daddy take that podcast super fucking seriously. So like when we originally thought of this idea, they were like fucking all over us. They're probably pissed at us that we're doing this.
No. As long as I don't give away the goodies, we'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what I wanted to make sure. Like the main thing about this video is to not like just go watch this video and now you don't have to listen to Kirkanoff to get the news, because like this is just literally like a 2-minute slice of basically one topic that you're talking about.
Yeah. So the way I see this, I think what works for everyone is that I'll take one of the news stories that I feel is obvious in the Minifan world. Mm-hmm. And for this week, it'll be the Dozens trivia. That's what everyone wants to talk about at this point. The amazing comeback and then the patheticness of But I will say this. I honestly think, and it's tough to get in the mindset of the game, knowing that you can give thumbs up and thumbs down, and you knew they muted Jared on the baseball question. What my strategy, like my initial thought of it, and this is just my idea, is you go to Jared, American League, National League. Like you just ask the question.
Yeah.
The team.
He basically still
and try to limit it. Like you have seconds. You can get a lot through that. Yeah. Like ALNL, you eliminate half the teams, get the division, and then even in that situation, Steve's useless.
Here's what I love about the Dozens thing. I know Jeff Lowe loves having the Minifans involved, and it's just that number just surges when we're involved. So like I think he's going to continue to dip his finger into that well as much as he can.
So I was disappointed because as soon as I found out that it was, so I reached out after the show last Friday. I DM'd Jeff.
Thanks, Dan.
And I said, hey, are you having the KMS?
So when you reach out to someone like Jeff D-Lo, do you say you're from Kirkanoff News?
I do. I go, I'm not
amazing.
I go,
that's so amazing though.
So the start of it is, hey, I'm Andrew Augustus. I do this new segment on Kirkenoff News, which is not related to the Kirk Minahan. Like, we're not affiliated with the show, but we're a fan show about the show. So I do like the whole, we're not affiliated with the show one bit. But I want to talk to, like, if I can get this, and it was like, I'm like, can we at least get something to say like that?
Like a quote.
Yeah, like, can we at least say like they're going to be on? He goes, yeah, they'll be on like in the next week or two. We want to have them on. I was like, perfect. So I got that, and that's when I saw the tweet, like, sources tell Kirkenoff News. So
Dude, like that's the kind of thing that, like, and it's funny because there's 100 wrap-up shows, right?
Yeah, it's
100. Like, no. I was part of one for fucking 6 months, right? There was not one person that acted like how you act. You know what I mean? That where it's like news, like treat it like fucking news.
I'm like, treat this. I'm out of the news game for now, and it's been once in a while, and so that's why I even DM'd Frank the Tank. I wanted to get Frank on just to be like, to talk about the cheating allegations. I'm like, these are serious allegations, Frank, and you're going up.
Mm.
But he just ignored me, right?
He was in the Discord for a little while. Yeah, he was in the KMS Discord for a little while, like in June, like way before anything. I don't know how he got in there. I don't know why he got in there, but yeah, he's Frank the Tank, like exactly.
And he's definitely. As soon as I heard it was Frank and the Frank, I'm like, and I have to give Nick as someone.
Nick, they're smart kid. Like, I mean, KB is like a geography whiz, dude. Like a whiz. Savant. Like, no, literally. And like, he writes those blogs about like geography, and you're just like, what's geography? This kid's only thing. And it's just like, yeah, dude, it is. like he's one of those kids that's just really good at one thing, and it's geography.
I think like the funniest moment of the entire Dozens trivia had to be Nick just before the beginning, just going, hey, I might be a little tired from fixing all these bikes. I'm like,
yeah. Yo, and KV chirping them for the burning down police station. Saying that too. I love the fact that they had to cut something out for Kirk. Like, you could just him just going right for the fucking throat, like throwing his headphones and just being a cunt immediately is the best thing. And it's just it's the same level as him winning the Bagger Carcass game and immediately turning the car off and jumping out of the car and just being like, yes. It's the same person.
That takes you back to like all the trivia times when he was back at EEI. He goes like,
yeah, like, dude, I the Battle of the Brainless things were some of my funniest like re-listens I've ever got. It like we did those for Midsell and Intel when we would do the education section, and like listening to those for the first time, like because we didn't get to listen to it obviously growing like when it was happening, like was one of the funniest. Like you just wish you were there for that. Like you just wish you were fucking there for it. Yeah, it was fucking awesome. Yeah, what else we got in news? What else you got?
So we got the Steve. We got a nice Steve from Providence update. We got we obviously got the trivia. We have also the Kirk Minahan team will have an announcement coming up about some contestants. I've been talking with Tim about who's coming in and out of that. Let me see. Actually, sometimes I gotta pull up the Twitter because like I just take notes to yeah, I think the funniest thing is if anyone looks at the pictures in my phone, it's just screenshots of timestamps of Kirk's show of things I think could be newsworthy. And I even forgot to do this in one of the newscasts. So I think I'm probably going to do it in this newscast, is where my formal apology is going to be issued to Harry Minahan for regretfully not announcing his prediction and his genius of getting the Royal Rumble correct.
It was unbelievable. I mean, it's just like he name dropped it, and he's like, "Do you sure you don't want to change it?" And he's like, "It's Edge. Nope. Edge is gonna win."
Yeah, let's see.
Yo, we were watching it live. We were watching. So
so it's gonna be true.
Oop, you there? I think you froze out. Hold on. Yeah, he froze out. He froze out.
Oh, yeah.
There he is.
I'm back. Yeah,
okay.
We'll have so we're gonna have Hall of Fame update. The final 8 voters within the Hall of Fame. And then obviously Kevin's suspension is gonna be coming up.
Yeah.
And I mean who was it? Was it you or someone who oh no, it was Jason from Attleboro who basically took Kurt Schilling's letter to the Baseball Hall of Fame and just change it for Kevin. I'm like, all right, bravo, Jason.
That's funny. I was using Kurt. I was saying me getting into the Hall of Fame is like Kurt Schilling getting into the Hall of Fame. It's just not mathematically possible. I was using that analogy a lot. It's just not going to happen. The people voting don't like me. It's just never gonna. I don't think I deserve to be on there.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm probably gonna get hated now. I'm associated with you. I'm like, I know.
It's okay.
I know it's gonna.
Did you hear VD get his hate the other day?
Yeah, well, I like everybody. I'm just like Mr. Friendly guy. It's like let's just go smoke a peace pipe.
Look at me, man. Look at me. I'm this. You could do the same. Believe me. Don't take that route, man. Don't take that route.
I'm supposed to. Like that's my job. I'm unbiased. Can't be.
The thing is, like, you like Kirk Off is a podcast where they just like people could call them like they suck Kirk's dick and blah blah blah. But like, they're a podcast who is completely Kirk biased, and like you do a new segment that's unbiased. So like, if you want your unbiased shit, look at their 2 minute. Like, those two guys are Kirk simps. Like that is what it is. There are people out there that are like that. You have to sit there and listen to it because that's who you want to hear Kirk stuff from.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's great about the Kirk and Off show is the simple fact you get people's backgrounds, and
they do the best interviews, like with Minifans. Like they do the best Minifan interviews. Like they know the right questions to ask. They don't ask the same questions over here because every Minifan sort of has the same fucking story. Like. We get it. You're from Boston. You listen to EEI. Like
you're in New England.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it was the fun thing about like, getting into this and becoming more vocal is I have like friends who I've had mutual friends for years. I had no clue listen to the show. And then all of a sudden I see them, they're liking like this tweet. And I'm like,
that's the one thing I never like. I haven't found one person within a fucking 50-mile radius of me. Bro. Like, maybe two or three people, but still like, it's still a Barstool podcast. Like, you know what I mean? Like how I found it, how has no one else? You
gotta start spreading the word, become like a Kirk witness and start knocking on people's doors. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior Kirk, man?
Yeah. That's a good idea, actually. Kirk would maybe like that. I doubt it. No. So yeah. What else do we got going on?
Yeah, so that I'll listen to the show tomorrow when it comes out, and then we'll figure out the last.
I like how you guys do. I always say this to you, but I love how you do the sponsor stuff. Whenever there's a new sponsor,
new sponsor. I think from the one thing that was like one of those things that stuck with me. I was like, it's great because sometimes, especially like you're listening to Kirk's show, they can go through it. You hear it there, and then it's like, all right, what was that? And then if you're listening to Kirk and Off, you'll hear it. But I think it's a good way. It's a way to help the show in like a minuscule way of like, look, you're going to get the main show. You're paying for the main show, but then you're going to see these passionate people who are just going to give that free drop.
I've always said this, and I had a conversation with Buddy about this on the year in review. Like, why has Barstool not been like, okay, we have Surviving Barstool. It was a funny reality show. You want a real funny fucking reality show? Fucking turn your camera this way, buddy. Look at us fucking freaks.
I think it was you who said it, but it was like, it has to be done.
It has to be done by a third party.
It has to be by someone in New York. Like
I always say, because we think we're too cool, and we are not cool.
Someone from New York needs to interview me, and the questions need to be: why are you wasting?
Yeah, what are you doing?
You are wasting 10 hours a week minimum trying to fight. Like you are not. You're
and this man hates you. Hates you.
He does not give two shits about you, which it's fine.
There are people out there that don't even know you and they hate you. What are you doing?
Like it would just be, it's like that's the kind of shit you need. And then you have to go cut to the Peace Abbey. You have to go cut to Madawaska.
Yeah, and then you cut to the fact that we raise $100,000. Like, oh shit. Okay, so they're not a joke.
No,
like,
it's
it can be crazy, but they're not a joke. Like
if honestly, if like, I mean, bars, like you bring it back to the Billy Football Jose Canseco fight. If Big Cat called into like Kirk's show and they talked and it's like, yeah, it'd be great to have the Minifans just go attack Jose Canseco, everyone would.
I mean, I mean, like, I think Big Cat knows. I think like Big Cat, like, know how like they found out. I don't know if you're big into like Rico Bosco, but they found out he has like the secret Discord server. Like, if Big Cat doesn't realize, like, yo, every month we bring Big Cat into the 14 and just say what's up, and then he leaves every month. Every month. Like, if he doesn't think that he doesn't have a little army like that, like the Minifans would do whatever Big Cat's. I always said he's the Mincel king. KFC is not the president of the Mincels at all.
Oh, I can't see the thing I like about
he doesn't listen, I don't think.
Oh, he does. Oh, no. It's
you think so?
If you listen, as much as I listen to KFC radio and some of the shit that, he listens.
Eddie listens because Eddie brings Kirk up every chance he can.
Oh,
every chance he can. He's obsessed.
And I don't even think it's necessarily. I mean, Eddie's obsessed. Eddie likes it, but he knows Dave listens, and I think Dave has so much respect for Kirk. Like, I mean, I honestly thought. I
mean, Kirk is what keeps all these like kids at Barstool on their toes, because like Ellie could go do something like she did, and like Kirk is gonna be like, fucking no.
The Kirk Minahan kill list at Barstool. Ellie Schmidt, K Marco,
like yeah. I mean, like it's legit. Like, I mean,
if you're gonna tell me that Ellie quit and it had nothing to do with Kirk, that's complete bullshit.
Oh, it had.
She was it was like. I mean, I never listened to it. But I had friends who did, and I was like, oh, I like her for this, that.
She was just a huge brand there, but they're at the point now where they don't even need huge brands. Like, legit, they don't need huge brands, like, especially one that's going to cause them issues like that. But like, she was such a huge brand, and the fact that like that happened, Kirk responded the way he did, Barstool responded the way they did, and Ellie was just like, I don't want to be here. Like, that's 100% because of Kirk. Like 100%.
Like, I want to just
exactly.
Stations. Like, I mean, come on.
That's why I love the KB chirp.
Like, that's like what and again, like what it was. Because I remember when KB would first start calling into the show, and then KB called into the Yak.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, I'm here. It's like, no, man, you're fake.
When they were looking, I may or may not know the KB caller, and they were looking. Deke Zucker texted or DM'd me and was like, "Yo, they're asking for the fake KB on the Yak right now," and I may or may not have texted that kid immediately. I was like, "You better call into the fucking Yak right now, dude, right now."
At first, because
that was one of the funniest. That was one of the funniest conversations ever. KB talking to fake KB was one of the funniest conversations ever, dude.
But like, just to see, and like that's why I was like, I was a little nervous at first because you hadn't really heard much about the KB, like, because like you could tell he wasn't too thrilled with it.
Yeah, and then it developed like right off the bat. It wasn't. I think it was because KB was like, "Yo, this is actually really good."
Honestly, I think it was like after that Yak call, and then seeing him and Nick just like kind of just both dive in, like, fuck it. And then Nick was like,
those two are the weirdest kids in the fucking world too. Nick on Surviving. You said you were watching Surviving Barstool.
Oh, I was rooting for him.
I love Nick, dude. He's one of the weirdest people on the, and like when he called his mom, like calling your mom, that was one of the funniest things.
Hey mom, like what's my
mom, what do I do when I go poop? Like I hate asking.
You have to get naked.
You have to get naked. And then the next episode, they started it with him calling his mom to tell him about the sunglasses.
I had to call you in like 15 minutes about sunglasses. No, I never take them off. And then he gives them the KFC. I'm like, this is
yo. And then White Sox Dave at the end of the episode was like, can I have those glasses? can I get those glasses?
I think I was with some friends and we were drinking, and I even said, and everyone was talking about like after Trump left, how soon does he start his own media thing? And I go, I bet you, I would bet money Barstool has their own TV station or media conglomerate point of like actual either radio, broadcast TV before Trump does. Mm-hmm. So I think they have so much built-in content, and it's just so much potential.
Barstool is like it's like, you know, like how like you could say like someone has like a crazy aura, or like you hear those crazy people like your aura is crazy, like in whatever that movie is, Almost Famous. Like if you look at Barstool as a company, their aura right now is just fucking unbelievable. Like it's insane. Like what they can do is just unbelievable. Like we were talking about earlier, they could just literally be like, all right, we're making a women's hockey league, and it would be a fucking machine, dude. It would be a machine. Like women's hockey would be huge then.
Clearly, it's the one thing that I always think, and I was getting into this fight with this guy about the NWHL shit. It's you can't. I think it's irresponsible to now lump all of Barstool. Like you can't lump Kirk Minahan in with Barstool totally. It's because they're so diversified in so many different things. It's that you have what's it? What Wally freaking out in Philly? Like $1 million.
$1 million worth of game, which is
$1 million
monster brand.
It's Monster brand, Monster podcast, which is 120% different than Jim Florentine, who they have, which is different than the wrestling
Color Daddy.
It's you have so many different things.
Us in with the Boys, which is a huge brand that I didn't even know was a huge brand. Like people keep saying that Bussin' with the Boys is like their biggest NFL brand. I have never even looked into it. You know what I mean? Like they have such big brands that I have never even been able to stumble upon yet.
No, it's you try if anyone says they listen to every Barstool podcast,
it's impossible. It's not even possible. It's not even possible to keep up with this fucking show, let alone every Barstool podcast. You know, like I basically at this point listen to this show, the Dave Portnoy show, and when I can, well, obviously other than Minifan stuff, like when I can, I listen to Lights Camera Barstool because I love those guys. Joe Ball is fucking hilarious. And I'm into that shit. Like I'm into that kind of stuff. Like I wish I could do more of that. So like when we did Must See with Mike, like I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I love that stuff.
It's definitely such. I don't even know how else to describe it except it's just huge. It's so huge in such an arm, and it's again just circling back. I'll never understand why like you could have the opportunity to reach that kind of fan base and that kind of like clout and success and to turn it off the back. It's like, look, I think we as a nation even are too quick to cut people out. It's like you say one thing I don't like, you're dead. It's like, no, well, okay, we can have differences of opinion.
Well, that's the thing about Barstool. Like they day by day prove that like you can say that one thing and still get fucking by in this fucking goddamn country. You know? Like, so you can say like have a past where you said something fucking stupid and still fucking make it. Thank God. I hope. I mean you have to deal with it. Even though you have to deal with the Deadspins of the world, even though you have to deal with these kind of people, like it just sucks.
I mean, you live, you learn, you live and you learn from it. I mean, it's what you're gonna do, and that's why I even say about like my whole situation. It's like, look, I fucked up. I said stupid shit when I was in college. I was trying to be funny. I was trying to make it in the comedy world. I was trying to be like 2010. Who was one of the big comics in the world? Daniel Tosh. His shit is fucked up. Like,
that's why like you either have to do it, mean it, and stand by it, and like if it's bad, you still fucking you say you're sorry and you fucking stand by it though. Like I did it. Don't fucking be like I'm not that person because yes you were.
Roseanne, I was on sleeping pills and I just decided to say racist.
Yeah,
shit.
Don't be doing stupid stuff like that. Like come on, like you have to fucking like. I'm just more or less like in the ballpark of like, as long as you're not a fucking shitty person, you're not a shitty fucking person. It gets as simple as that.
Like, I mean, I love my girlfriend to death. I'll never say this enough. She's great. I mean, she's a lot more liberal than I am. So like, of course, like
same with me.
When shit comes up, we'll start talking, and she knows anytime if she brings up politics with me, it's like I'm like that guy. Like you've seen the meme, like freaking, like, oh, I'm not gonna get political tonight. 2 drinks later, it's like freaking. That's exactly how I am. But it's not even like I'm not gonna talk politics tonight. It's like I'm not gonna talk politics tonight. Someone brings up one thing remotely political. Let's freaking go.
Yeah.
And it's for me, what was it? Like she tried to bring up like the Kaepernick comparisons to Brady, and someone was like, "Oh, Brady loves Trump," and they this and they. I go, well, the difference is Brady's never tried to make politics like the front. Anytime it comes up, he goes, "I'm not talking about that."
Yeah.
Decided to make it up, and I hate to say it, if you look at the NFL as a whole, if you can help the team win, they're gonna sign you.
Mm-hmm.
You could beat up a child and still be in the Super Bowl. Let's get legit here. There's no morality amongst the owners except
murder. I mean, Ray Lewis murdered someone. Like, Apparently. Apparently.
As the reporter in me, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh my God. I love when people get all mad. Like, as someone who's worked in the news,
I'm not a reporter, so I will say it. Ray Lewis murdered someone, and then won a Super Bowl that year. So what else can you do? What else?
I always laugh. I'm like, all right. So everyone's like, I can't believe they're using the term allegedly. Well, legally, they have to use it. So that way, when it comes into court, you don't get fucked. And then you get pissed off that it gets off because
of parody. It's like, yeah, this is parody. It's all
people.
It's not, but it's parody.
Freaking people.
So yeah, we'll do this fucking video. I think we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up here. That we went on for an hour. I think we talked about good stuff. I think we'll do this we'll try to do this once a week where I have you come on. I feel like you could update my people at least about the fucking news.
Yeah,
like I said, we're not gonna fucking steal you.
You guys, see, you get the Cliff Notes version, and then you get me drinking a little bit and just going.
Yeah,
off.
Exactly. You sign into Kirkin off for the fucking pro version. You pay $99 for the pro version, or you get the free version. I'm the free version. Not a lot of the boxes are checked here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did write up my fun little spot, so I'll let you guys. I'll give you the quick behind the scenes of how.
There you go. I'm gonna put you full. We'll do that right for the end, and then I'll put you full screen. I'm gonna take the logos off and shit. All right.
Yeah. So this is basically how the newscast works, and I make fun of myself. So we'll see if I can do this live in one take. I doubt it, but this whole thing will be a nice little longer thing for what you and I are working on in the video section for sure. It's so to do this, it's always. Got to clear the voice.
I like how you always start off with, because you had to send me the audio thing, and you start off with recording in 3, 2, 1.
That was about to happen. It's what I have to do. So it's because for me, when I do these, I have to make sure that at least when you do the 3, 2, 1 countdown, you can at least see the spike. So it's like, I gotta get into the reporter voice too.
My reporter voice. All right, you're live.
All right, let's do this. We're gonna have some fun. Here we go. We're gonna go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As the dozen trivia competition heats up, fans were treated to a high-stakes matchup between the number 2 Kirk Minahan show team and the number 3 seed Frank and the Frankettes. After the Frankettes jumped out to an early lead, Kirk and only Kirk brought that team back and had a slight lead leading into the halftime competition, where Kirk's knowledge of Super Bowl halftime trivia contestants paid him off well as they took a nice edge going into the second half. Unfortunately for Kirk, Jared and Steve kind of both forgot that there were 2 halves to this competition and basically disappeared. Now, to be fair to Jared, that he was muted, but I think hand signals could have been used better, and I think everyone listening here too. And Frank and the Frankettes came from behind, take a lead, and had to use their phone a friend to win the day, as the winning answer was Toby Maguire, as Kirk Minahan lost by 1 point to Frank and the Frankettes 14-13. Now, anyone who might be discouraged from this, thinking that there could be a team change, me, honestly, I said that there could have been a change on the wrap-up show, but I was wrong, as Kirk vigorously came out on Wednesday saying he is going to carry Steve and Jared to a championship, and I think all of that. And fuck, I was so close.
That was close. That was close. You almost had it one take. You almost had that's it's so funny to see how you have to pronunciate things and shit. It's so funny. It's so funny.
You'll see, because especially with everyone watching on the camera right now, there's a lot of it that gets ad-libbed as I go on, and I kind of think go. So I'm trying to wrap it up. Fuck.
Yeah, you got to do the wrap up. Right. I don't know where you ended, but go ahead.
We have to go from the beginning. It's going to be
okay. All right, start it.
That's the fun part. But fuck, I thought I had it. Here we go. I'm gonna get it this time. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The dozen trivia competition heats up as fans were treated to the high-stakes matchup between the number 2 seed Kirk Minahan show and the number 3 seed Frank and the Frankettes. Well, Frank and the Frankettes start off to an early lead, answering some questions and even getting a steal early on. However, with the golf category once again, which is becoming the powerhouse for Mr. Minahan, doubling down, getting his question right, and then stealing the second question, put the Minahan show into the slight lead heading into halftime. During the halftime back and forth, Kirk's knowledge of recent Super Bowl champions, well, not champions, I should say. It's going to be the halftime performance, but let's face it, and most of those that the Patriots were in, they were champions in my opinion. As Kirk, that was just Yeah.
You tried there. You tried to get it.
You try to save it. It's I go for it. It's anytime I do it, I'll try to save it, and if it works, great. If not, you start from the beginning. It's
It is what it is. It is
what it is. All right. I'm feeling third time's the charm. If not, it's going to be an embarrassing story.
That's okay. We'll sit here all night.
Oh,
People will get all their.
I got plenty more booze in me, so we'll be good to go. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The dozen trivia competition continues to heat up as the number 2 seed Kirk Minahan show faced off against the number 3 seed Frank and the Frankettes in a star-studded matchup. Frank and the Frankettes jumping out to an early lead first, taking fuck. No, I have to go off the script.
Time wasn't the best. Third time wasn't the best.
It was the worst. It was absolutely the worst. But here's the thing. I would rather fuck up in the beginning because I don't feel so bad going all the way back. And I'll be very honest, it's 100% out of pure laziness. Like when I worked in radio, I could sometimes for recorded newscasts at the end, I would splice it all up. Oh, I had a good read here. But for this, I want it to be clean.
It's got to be like hard to be like 2 minutes, like a minute and a half into it, and just be like, all right, you're doing good. You're doing good. Keep it going, and then the second you start thinking like that, you ruin it. You're just like, fuck, I'm not doing good anymore. All right, go ahead.
All right, this is gonna be the $1 million one. I'm feeling good about this one. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As the Dustin Trivia competition continues to heat up, fans were treated to the high-stakes matchup between the number 2 seed Kirk Minahan show and the number 3 seed Frank and the Frankettes, consisting of Frank Fleming, Nick, the guy who fixes motorcycles, and KB, who I think is in Quincy now. Yeah, he moved from Hingham to Quincy, so good for him. At first, the Frank and the Frankettes jumped out to an early lead, stealing some questions early on. However, the golf category came up, and of course, with Captain Kirk saying, leading the way, goes, we're going to double this. Doubles up his points, steals their golf question, takes the lead, goes into the halftime question where they're going back and forth between 26 Super Bowl halftime performers. Now, you got Frank Fleming yelling God knows what. His answer is wrong. Steve's yelling Lady Gaga. Congratulations, Steve. Everybody knows Lady Gaga showed up. She didn't even have a meat dress, but we can all remember that. So calm down. You're useless. Anywho, Kirk wins the day, wins the points, takes us out. Unfortunately for Kirk, his teammates forgot that there was an entire second half of the competition where Frank and the Frankettes continued to storm back and took an eventual lead, having the one final question about a movie was made about this actor who was doing some illegal betting in New York. Of course, the answer, Tobey Maguire. Frank and the Frankettes use their call, get it right, win the show. Kirk Minahan show loses by 1. Now, everyone thinks, me included, because I said this on the KMS wrap-up show on Monday, that Kirk and the Minahan team would be different coming into the next show. However, nope, stubborn Kirk, determined Kirk, I should actually say, not even stubborn, determination. Kirk is going to put the heavy Steve Robinson and the apparently fit Jared Carabas on his back and will carry them to a Dozens championship, his exact words from his Wednesday show. So it's going to be very interesting to see going forward. Can Steve A learn geography like he said, and can B Jared just kind of answer some questions and hopefully not get muted? We'll find out on the next Dozens Trivia. But for the Kirkenoff news, I'm Andrew Augustus. Let's hope this gets better. I'm taking it.
That was good. That was good. That was good.
So much good at the end.
I love it.
That's like,
dude, that's this has to be fucking. Do you do each segment at a time?
No. So what I'll do is when I do the news. So the way it'll work out is with the news, I'll just throughout the week write it down, and I work on a script throughout the week and hit the bullet points, and then I write the script out on Friday after I listen to the show. And then once that's done, I just kind of record it going in and out. I get the audio clips I want if I talk with anyone. Like that one I just did was 2 minutes, which is perfect. So and even what I like to do with this, so I'll go, where is it? Export. There we go. I just gotta remember I don't save this because if I save this, it's a news sounder. We're gonna call this trivia long. Boom. Got that.
There you go.
And it's so funny, like to see, like, because like right now, so what I wrote out for that was supposed to be, as a dozen trivia competition heats up, fans were treated to a high stake matchup between number 2 Kirk Minahan show team versus number 3 Frank and the Frankettes. After the Frankettes jumped out to an early lead, Kirk and only Kirk brought the team back after a strong performance in the halftime show. Unfortunately, Steve and Jared forgot there was a second half of the show, and Frank and the Frankettes soundly defeated Kirk by 1 point. That was
that was, and you spun off that. So yeah, I mean,
that's the way my mind.
Once you get into it, though, once you get into it, you just kind of have to make sense with what you say. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, the only thing I wish I didn't in like college was I actually wish I took actual improv classes, and because like I feel like that would have helped me a lot more than it. I feel like
improv classes are things people take outside of college, anyways. You could join one at any time.
I'm just too lazy.
Like yeah, that's true. Don't you just feel like improv classes are happening all the time everywhere?
Worst case, I'll just reach out to Kevin. Hey, Kevin, let me improv off you.
Yeah, exactly. Let me bounce a few things off you. Let me bounce a few things off you real quick. Yeah, I appreciate this stuff though. I like I said, I'm a huge Kirkenoff fan, so like these new segments was like, I texted them immediately. I was like, dude, this is the best I fucking love it. And I love the little like jealousy that they have towards it too. They're like, fuck, this guy is putting in the nicest segment in our podcast. Like, I'm like, I want that fucking battle to happen.
I think I'm excited. So I know that one day they talked about having me on, and I think that's going to be one of the fun shows because the only teaser I'll give is like, Buddy and I have a history.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I think that'll come up and we'll talk about it.
Well, I look forward to this. Like I said, I'm going to have you on and we'll do that. We'll have you record this like each Friday or Thursday or Friday before the Friday. We'll do it before the Friday show. It'll be on something before Friday's show. That's what we'll do. We could just shoot the shit then too.
Yeah, like I'm always down to shoot the shit. Everyone knows. If you want to just follow me, reach out. I'll say hi. Okay. Hell, on the 21st, I'm going golfing with a bunch of Minifans up in Woburn. Yeah, we're gonna go to the range. We're like, all right. Well, we are at the beach. Yeah, we got the crew, so we got all the bays rented out. 2 people per bay. Thanks, Baker, for that one. But it's gonna be a fun little thing. And like it's so weird. Again, I always go back. I have to explain to my girlfriend, like, hey, I'm like, what are we doing this day? She goes, nothing. Why? I go, all right, I'm going golfing. Oh, who are you going with? Mark from Haverhill.
This guy is. Well, I'm looking forward to this week's episode, man. Like I said, I talked to Buddy and he said it's going to be a fucking ripper. So I'm
excited for it. It's and I can't give those 2 guys credit enough. It's all funny.
Yeah, they kick ass with it.
And I think what just makes it even funnier, knowing that I know who they are now, and like I listened back like when Kirk was talking about Sacco, and he's like, "Fucking look at Blind Mike's daddy." So I'm like, "Oh my god, I know who he is."
Yeah. So, were you in Sacco? You said
no,
you went
there. I have not been to a live show yet, unfortunately. Just
it was fucking awesome. It was awesome.
I'm definitely gonna get there. It's
I'm doing that at Watts too, and I'm fucking definitely looking forward to that. Even if I get a ticket or not, I'll just go up to fucking Maine. It's probably fucking gorgeous up there.
Well, I mean, this is so some of the Minifan news that'll be coming out is coming. Also, it's like I always forget about it. There's going to be a golf tournament. Kirk said he's in for that. There's going to be a mini golf tournament. So Kirk said he wants to like throw that together, and like myself and Mark from Haverhill, we're talking back and forth, and I have a couple of friends who do this golf league around Massachusetts, and it's just like a bunch of guys, and they go to like you have like a week and a half to play each course.
Okay.
And you go from each course to course, and I think that this could be the beginning of something if we can get enough Minifans who want to golf and do this, and who would be something interesting in it. We were thinking about keeping it along like 95 and finding golf courses along 95 in the public.
That's pretty cool.
And it would be one of the apps I use is 18 Birdies, and it's like you could easily keep tracks and eventually you can handicaps into it involved.
Yeah, it's like the running app that even though that app fucking ended up sucking.
I use it would be great, and I think it would be a fun little thing. And like I have a friend who we're talking about like we want to reach out maybe like if Milton's wanted to get like just think about this. You have the Masters, and then you have the Kirk Minahan Masters. You get a jacket from Milton.
You know what I mean? So like, why not the Masters, right? Well, like I said, I'm looking forward to this weekend, and we'll have you back on next week. I enjoy this. Maybe we'll get some more people. We'll have you in here with Jay's Mayhem. We'll see how you handle.
I will say this: anyone who wants to come in and talk with me, I'm an open book. I'll have them come on. If they think my news is shit, bring it on. I mean,
yeah. Well, if you can, if I always say, if you can sit in there with Jay, like if you can sit in there with Jay, he just shits on people he loves. So
yeah. I think I've reached out to Jay like 17 times. I'm like, oh, why are you fighting with this person now? Like, is this? You have to care about this.
Every time he answers, I don't know. I want to like Jay's literally in my Mount Rushmore of Hall of Fame. Like I go to Jay to humble my ass. Like that's who I go to Jay. That's what I go to Jay for. Like he's the best Minifan out there in my books. All right, buddy. Thanks for hopping on here. I got this recording. I know you recorded on your end, so I'm gonna send me yours.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's like the one thing. One day, maybe I'll start. If I can get like a good thing, I'll throw some clips in there, and I can do it all live. Like
yeah, and we can if you have clips, like I could put video up and stuff. So like I could put video up, you could talk over it. I could put pictures up. I could put anything up. So we'll make this better and better each week.
Maybe I'll wear a suit one time.
Yeah, dude, getting dirty. All right, buddy. Make sure you mention the fact that Better Than It Used to Be is coming back. Best show that ever was.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for having me. This was fun. I'll talk to you soon.